Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. The Messages of Inspiration and Hope is proudly brought to you by the good guys at the 6minutewebinar.com. As you see on the little ticker tape down there, our guest today is Orly Amor. We've had this young lady on the radio show. I was on her show, and today she's on our show. She is a fantastic inspirational speaker, business coach, trainer. If you're a speaker and you need to get going, you need to get in touch with Orly. I'm also joined today by the honorary host here on E360TV.com, the network, and that young lady, Charlene Fouts. She also does our commercials for us. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a treat. We'll be right back right after this brief message.
Hi, and welcome to the Messages of Inspiration and Hope show that's proudly sponsored by the 6-Minute Webinar. Today we have some exciting and very interesting guests, real people just like you and me. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the show. Now here's Jim.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're so glad that you decided to tune in. If you see this, first of all, let me humbly say to all you folks out there that's watching the show, thank you so very, very much. Our show is just growing and growing and growing all over the world. We sincerely thank you, and we appreciate the fact that the reason you tune in is because we have great guests. Because make no mistake about it, if it wasn't for great guests, there would be no reason for this show. And I'm joined today by my co-host, Charlene Fouts. How are you, Charlene?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here, Jim.
Thank you. I'm glad you're here. I mean, you're just a wonderful lady. You do the commercials for us and all, and I want to personally thank you for that. And the way we do business here, she's my co-host, I'm her co-host. So together we is kind of like co-host alone. You know what I mean?
We have fun.
Oh, yeah. And you just met a lady you're automatically a friend with her anyway, but you guys, your paths have already crossed, and you just started figuring it out just about 90 seconds before we went live. Am I right on that?
Exactly. We knew each other.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's how, in travels in life, how your paths cross other people's lives. And the real secret to life is how can you be a blessing to someone? How can you share your gifts with them? Just give them a smile and, treat them, just like you would like to be treated, or even better than you'd like to be treated. And that really sometimes makes a huge difference, doesn't it, Charlene?
It really does. It really does. And with Orly, once you see her and you hear her speak, you won't forget her. Even if you say, "Hey, I think I know you from somewhere." She's amazing.
She really is. And these two ladies are such powerhouses. I'll just sit back and just, try to look intelligent. And they will make me look good and sound good and everything. But let's invite Orly to the stage, please. I mean, hello there, young lady. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you both. My goodness, just listening to that, I'm almost afraid to show up. It was like, okay, that's too much. Are they talking about me? Okay.
We are.
We were bragging on you, girl. We'll send you a bill later for a chili cheese dog and fries.
That's what I thought. I thought there was something
and a large Dr. Pepper for that.
You got it. Cake, a whole case.
Would you be so kind as to, just say hello to the audience and just share a little bit about you, please?
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Orly Amor, of course, and I am in New York City, actually Brooklyn, coming to you from Brooklyn. I don't have a Brooklyn accent because I don't say coffee. I say coffee still. And for those of you who are looking for that kind of a joke, you'll get it in a minute. I also don't say idea. I say idea. And I don't say pizza. I say pizza. Anyway, I like to joke around with that because I speak multiple languages and people say, well, where is your accent from? Well, I don't have a Brooklyn accent. That's all I care about. I've been a public speaker, an author, and a coach for now, affirmative as far as the public speaking. I've been doing that for 24 years full time. And I've been coaching public speakers on the business side of public speaking for 10 years now. Wow. I can't believe I said that out loud. Yes, I'm 53 years old and proud to wear it very well. And so, here I am.
I tell you, it's amazing when you see the credentials on what Orly brings to the party and what she does for others. Oh my goodness. This is the kind of person that you need in your life. Am I right on that, Charlene?
Absolutely. She's motivating, I'll tell you. She's beaming right now.
Yeah. When I sent Charlene the information on Orly, she immediately got back to me and says, oh my goodness, this lady, I forget the exact word. She's a powerhouse. She's got it going. I mean, she's amazing. I think is what you said, wasn't it?
She's amazing. I said she's amazing, and she is. She's just full of life. She's full of knowledge, and I was excited to be here. I'm like, yeah, I will be there.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking earlier today, I was thinking, how Orly and I crossed paths, and I couldn't remember, because I meet so many people, but I said, you know what? The important thing to remember is that she's your friend. And I mean that sincerely. And we had her on the radio show, and my goodness gracious, we got a lot of downloads on that show, one of the top shows. And her, with all of her information, her energy, the way her message just vibrates out there and just reaches out and grabs you. I said, we got to get this girl on the TV show. And Charlene, she had me on her show. Can you believe that?
Well, she let you on. That's good. And you behaved.
Yeah, I behaved. Yeah. We had a wonderful time. We really did. And Orly, I just want to thank you for that. I really do.
I want to thank you, Jim, because here's the thing. The funny thing is that I felt like a minute ago to say, hey, guys, I'm here. You guys are talking about me, but I'm here. I'm present right here. It's like they're talking about me like if I'm not in the room. I'm in the room. I hear you. I can hear you.
Well, it's good that you heard. It was
all together, guys. Should I leave now?
I saw you back in the back of the studio going.
Wait, we're not done talking about you yet. Just wait a minute.
Okay. I'll let you know. Oh, please stop. Don't stop. Okay, so Jim, we met through Dr. Karen Perkins, and small world, but
yes,
is just connecting. And I love it when people get together. And you just click with them. If you click and you don't click with people, I'm sure you wouldn't have called me on your show and I wouldn't have called you on my show if we didn't click. It just doesn't matter who you are and how good you are. And I just say that to people. It's if you click with people, that's where things happen. If you don't, things don't happen that easily either,
You're exactly right, because the obligation that a host has to the audience is to be able to make sure they put on a great, great show. And it takes a great guest to do that. And that's just, and when you're able to return the favor back and forth, I mean, it's just a win-win situation. Plus, this is what I call a nicety to know. That's country English. I've got a degree in Southern slang. A nicety to know. It's important in life for you to be able to associate yourself with people who will help you, who will, introduce you where you need to be introduced, who will help you get on stages, help you get on shows, things like that. That's the kind of people you want to search out. And that's how all three of us, that's what we do. That's how we came together. And, Charlene, I tell you, it's just, I think we met through the 6-minute webinar, didn't we?
We did. We sure did. It's amazing.
Yeah. And speaking of the 6-minute webinar, I've got to do a little business here right quick. I got to put up a text there. It says money is the word you use, but let me ask you a question. Would you like to have your very own incredible offer, an irresistible offer that will attract your ideal clients? Would you like to get for free 5 different keys that will help you put it all together? When we say free, we mean free. All you got to do is just text the word money to 970-443-4307. Put your email address in there, and I give you my personal word. that your phone number, your email address will be kept confidential. It will not be sold. And most importantly, you won't be hounded to buy something else. And it is a wonderful program. It's done by a great friend of mine. And guess who that great friend is, Charlene?
Who is it, Jim?
Don McGrath.
Don
You knew
McGrath.
it.
You got
You all
it.
knew it.
It's Don. It's Don McGrath.
Don's awesome.
Oh,
Don
just
is
share with,
awesome. He's
just
hysterical.
share, just share with the folks what kind of training Don McGrath puts on, because both of you have been to his training.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Oh.
Actually, so much so, I mean, Charlene, I have to tell you the story. It's hysterical because when they put out the 6-minute webinar, I'm like, 6 minutes? Are you kidding? 6 minutes? I want to know how to do that. And what happened was that I was at one of my clients' house and her name is Julie. And I said, Julie, we got to get on this thing. And she's like, it's a 3-hour thing. It's a 3-hour thing. Yeah, it's a 3-hour thing to learn how to do a 6-minute thing.
6 minutes, yeah.
Let's get up. And here we are in her dining room. And I'm like, we're listening to this thing. And she's like, hey, you're the coach. I'm just going to follow. And so here we are putting this thing on and we're there, copious notes, right? We're like, I printed 2 things for her and for me. And we just went on and we just sat there, me, her, and a couple of other of my clients. I'm like, you guys get on this thing now.
Just gather around. I invited people too. I was so impressed with it. And it's great the way it sums everything that you want to say up. Just like that, because people don't have a big attention span when you're excited, you're trying to tell them everything. And he really just narrows it down. It's amazing.
Oh, it does. And when Don puts on a free training, when he says free, he means free. And you won't get any more if you send him $100. He's going to give you he's going to say, here's the buffet, come and dine and feed your needs. And again, let me put that text the word money and your email address to 970-443-4307. If you know of someone that would like to have that training to get the 5 keys for free on how to build an irresistible offer and attract your ideal class to you, there's the ticker tape. Just text the word money and your email address to that phone number there, 970-443-4307. And that's actually Don's personal phone number. That's how sincere he is. And I tell you, I just tip my hat to him. Being associated with him and being his friend and business partner is just an honor for me. It really is. Well, let's get back talking about Orly Amor. I want to talk to Orly. Oh, are you doing it right now?
I was going to do it, and I was going to say, Don, get off the mountain.
Well, let's get back to talking to Orly Amor here. I mean, goodness gracious, because your story really touched me big time, where you came from, because what really touched me about Orly's story was the fact that, ladies and gentlemen, she went through some horrible experiences in her life. And when you meet her, she's full of love. She's full of energy. She's full of giving and abundance in her heart. And I just kind of had to tip my hat to her because, my goodness, I just love you so much for that. I mean, your family. Would you, if you're comfortable, would you share a little bit about that, please?
Oh, of course. But can I share the story behind it as well?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Of my
Absolutely.
So because I don't like to just share my story, because I believe everybody has a story, and I don't think that it's about like a competition of stories, like who went through the worst thing ever, right? And I think that we all have that. It's like, who went through the worst thing? It's not about that. And especially in public speaking, I believe that everyone should share their story, because I was one of those people who did not want to share my story. Mm-hmm. And that's where the backstory is that I did not want to share my story because of shame, because of being scrutinized, because of being judged. I was a very successful entrepreneur, and I just did not want to do that kind of public speaking. I was already doing public speaking, but in my field of property management, I was really well known in property management in Florida. Charlene, maybe that's where you know me from.
Yes, it is.
So this is where I was speaking all over the country and Florida. Actually, my coup de grace when I left Florida was I changed the law in the state of Florida and in the property management, So what I want to say is that one of my girlfriends asked me to speak at a women's shelter in Florida. It was a long, long time ago. And I did not want to share my story, but I fought her through it. And finally, I agreed to speak at this women's shelter. And after I was done speaking, something happened. And I'm sparing you the details of everything. But after I was done speaking, something happened that I did not expect. One, there was not dry eye in the place. When I got off the stage, I was being approached by women who were thanking me, which never happened in property management, but it was more like thanking me for sharing and giving them hope and that kind of a thing. And then there was one woman that came up to me and said, "You don't understand." And I said, "No, I do understand." But she was crying profusely, so we couldn't calm her down. And after back and forth, she took out a piece of paper out of her pocket and showed it to me. And she said, "This is how I was going to kill myself this morning. In fact, I don't remember driving from my house to the shelter. But now that I heard you speak, I want to live. I just need you to show me how."
Whoa.
So when you don't want to share your story, now I'm going to share my story, Jim, because this is what I just don't want people to think that sharing my story has anything to do with what the story is. I was a beaten up child. I was molested 4 times before the age of 14. I was raped 3 times before the age of 22, twice gang raped, 9 months apart, left for dead. I was married to a very abusive husband, both mentally and physically. And as a result of all that, I had 4 abortions and I gained a morbid amount of weight. I was 428 pounds at my heaviest.
Wow.
In Florida. So
Wow.
in 2005 in Florida, I actually flew to Colombia and had a gastric bypass. That's where I lost 85 pounds in the first 6 months, but then I started gaining it back. So I took myself into my own hands and started losing weight by just getting rid of some habits. And it was a hell of a journey, but here I am. I lost 230 pounds so far.
Oh, and look at you. You're beautiful. Amazing. Wow.
But the point about sharing your story is the act of sharing is the act of contribution. You just don't know whose life you're going to change or maybe save. And that's what happened to me in that shelter. It wasn't like, wow, it was, wow, what happened? It was more like, wow, I just saved somebody's life. And believe me, the night I drove from that shelter, I have to say it out loud. And I know that it's a big audience that's probably watching. And I was driving and I was crying. Everybody was crying at this shelter, by the way. But I was driving home and my friend Chris was sitting next to me. And I said, "But property management, I want to do this for the rest of my life." That's when I got into public speaking and changing people's lives, because at this moment I was like, that's my calling. I don't want to do property management anymore. God. And now you could pay me $1 million. I will not go back to property management.
Wow.
But I had to continue in property management because I still had clients and so on. But with time, bye-bye. And it was a pretty nice transition. Well,
going from that, what you did there, you kind of like said goodbye to, trying to get through the stuffed suits, and you said hello to the bleeding hearts out there and the people who were, hurting on the inside, who needed to hear you. And you're right. That's your calling. It really is. And I tip my hat to you. And Charlene, when I first heard her story, I was just kind of like, oh my goodness, look at this beautiful lady. I mean, how can she, come back from that? But she did. She arose. And I just had to tip my hat to her. I just really did. I wish I was more intelligent to say something, intelligent, but all I could say was, wow. I'm just, touched and amazed and everything. Because Charlene, how did her story touch you?
I think that's amazing. And you're an inspiration. And that's what it's all about, is not, it's not about you. It's about inside your heart and how you can help other people. And that's really what we're here for. And we're here to be able to find our purpose. And you nailed it. You were just like, you didn't want to do it, but you had that calling and you saved somebody's life. And I think, what better thing could you be doing in life? That's amazing.
Oh,
And you're
absolutely. Excuse me. Go
and
ahead.
and how and you may not even know how many lives you've saved since then. That's
Mhm.
Right.
the thing. It's just a blessing that keeps coming and coming.
And that's very cool that you said that, because I'm training to do a TEDx, and so one of my phrases in my speech is actually that, which I shared about the act of sharing. But one of the things that I do share is that you should share your story,
Yes.
and become a speaker, become a coach, become a mentor, whatever, because the life you save may never be able to thank you. You don't know who's in the audience. They might not come up to you now. They might remember you in another life. Who knows, I just had a client who just hired me, and when we did our first session, he said, "You don't remember me, but I actually hooked up your audio visual at a conference that you did a few years ago
Oh,
when you were the opening act for this conference, and I'm the one who did your audio visual." I'm like, "Really? Was I nice to you?" That's the only thing I could say. Was I nice to you? She's like, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, "Really? You just never know who you're gonna meet. Who are these people? You just never know." But he remembered me.
I
Mm.
remembered you. You make an impression because it's genuine and it comes from the heart, and people connect with that, and they know when you're sincere, and it
That's
touches
true.
them, and they won't forget you.
Yeah, it's just you're definitely an unforgettable lady. I can tell you that, and I mean that in a nice way because
Yeah, and
you're.
it could be good and bad,
Yeah, but it's really amazing. What really gets me in life. A lot of times we want to do big things and things in a grandiose way, but for me personally, I've had little things that I've done without knowing that I was doing it that really made an impression on other people. And when they tell you, you go like, "Wow, really?" A good example, and I'm sure you folks out there have experienced the same thing, is when you're talking to someone and they said, "You remember that time that, we did this?" And you go like, "No, oh man, that was one of the best times." And going like, and I'm racing through the canyons of my mind, and I'm looking for this idea, this thought, this memory, and it's not there. Of course, that's
Oh,
it's just. But the point being is that the little things in life, the things like sending an email to someone or a text message or a messenger or however you communicate with them. Just as thinking of you today, and hope you're healthy, happy. I like to say things like, "I hope you're healthy, happy, and a little bit on the sassy side," because that's the way I talk.
yes, it is.
Yeah, and it's amazing how that might be the only positive message they have that day.
Mhm.
You think about that, especially in this day and time, and all the things we've been through over the last year. I mean, it's almost we need we need some positive messages. We need some inspiration. We need some hope, and we need some laughter.
We do. We
And
do.
we provide that here on the show, don't we?
You do. You always bring us up with your silly little stories too. You've always got a
Oh yeah.
story about something, Jim. It makes us feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah. But one thing I've learned to do in my life is laugh at myself, and I promise you, I can laugh, several times like that every day with me. I'm, just my life alone. Just, when I get ready to goof something up, I don't really need any help. I can do it all by myself.
Well, that's great. Thank God.
But Orly, tell us a little bit what you're doing today in your business and how you're outreaching. Go ahead.
As a business coach for public speakers, I am the only one in the world that guarantees they'll make 150K their first year in public speaking.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
And one of the things that I get asked often is, "Okay, Orly, how do you guarantee that?" Nobody guarantees anything. And I keep on saying, you know what? 150K a year in public speaking is actually minimum wage. If you're not making 150K a year, you're actually dwindling. It's a hobby. It's not really a career for you. You're not taking it seriously. Yes,
Wow.
150K a year. Yes, US dollars. Okay, not rubles or not rubies or not, make sure that you are saying it. Yeah, it's not yens or anything like that. It's 150K US dollars. And the thing is that people are thinking, oh my God, you can't guarantee that during COVID, right? And a lot of people were really under a lot of myths. And I just want to clear some myths, Jim. Would that be a good thing? Because you and I have been in this profession for such a long time.
Oh, yeah.
I think we need to clear a few myths. And if I may
Sure.
share, one of the books that I shared a year ago exactly is Public Speakers, You're Not All That, 12 Reasons Why Event Planners Won't Hire You. And I'm coming up with a new book, and you're going to feel it's Public Speakers, You're Still Not All That during COVID. It's just really cute. And I've interviewed over 3,400 event planners that pay speakers for this book. So the reason I'm showing this to you is because there's so much going on out there that speakers are being told, coaches are being told, people thinking that they can't start a business now in this industry. It is horrible to think that. So let's talk about 3 myths, and then let's talk about what happened during COVID and then what's happening right now. And you stop me wherever you like, because I don't know if you have to go to commercial or anything like that. You let me know. No offense. Yes?
Go ahead. We're going to roll with you.
Okay. So let's talk about the myths in this industry. One is that people think they have to have a huge platform. They have to have a book. They have to have a podcast. They have to have a website. Okay, let's clear the air right now. None of these matter. If you have it, good for you. If you don't worry about it. When time comes, go ahead, get a podcast, get a book, get a website, get whatever you need, blah, blah, blah. Not important. Not necessary, not mandatory to have.
Love it.
Just get paid to speak first. The first thing that event planners are saying, and it's in my book, speakers don't have their act together. That's really what it is. That's really what they don't have. It's the business side. They don't have the mentality to hold up a conversation with an event planner, and they don't even know how much to ask as far as money goes. Things that make you go, right? Sorry, Jim, that song is around my.
Go ahead. Okay. I'm enjoying it.
What they do look at is your LinkedIn profile. Do you have it together? Are you presenting yourself properly? Now, the other thing that I'm going to share with your audience is do not contact event planners through LinkedIn. You will be blacklisted. Get their information and email them through a regular channel of email. Don't email them through LinkedIn. So some people are misunderstanding me when I say don't contact them through LinkedIn. That's what I mean by that.
That's good to know.
Blacklisted. Once you're blacklisted, it's across the board, just so you know. It's not just one, it's all of them. They talk to each other. Don't forget that. They do talk to each other.
Yeah, if I could just jump in there and say something.
Sure.
The job of the speaker, you got to understand the scenario. The event coordinator, their audience is their customers. You got to make the event coordinator look good in front of their audience. So it has nothing to do with you. How can you make the event coordinator look good to their audience? And then you will be in demand. But if you go out there and you look like a clown and sound like a clown, they're going to be talking about you in that circle she was talking about.
That's blacklisting, yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's a very good point. But in the same lines, let's talk about the most stressful jobs in America. They did a survey on the most stressful jobs in America, the 100 most stressful jobs, Canada and the United States. Number 1 was military jet fighter plane pilot. Number 2 was air traffic controller.
Definitely.
Number 6 was event planner coordinator.
I can understand that.
Let's talk about when they don't get back to you. Calm down. They don't have time to get back to you. So they'll get back to you when they want to and when they're really looking for speakers. So I have people like, I've spoken at, NSA groups and stuff like that. And there's always one person that says, event planners never get back to you. That is not true, because my clients get hired all the time. So I can tell you for sure that they do get back to you. You don't know how to talk to them, and you are not patient. You got to be patient in this industry. It's a numbers game after all. So here are some statistics. This was one. It's $100 billion a year industry. There are 64,000 events a day in America that pay speakers. And by the way, 78% of those events went virtual during COVID. So get used to it. 3 things you need to embrace. 1, virtual is here to stay. Get used to it. Get ready. It's here to stay forever. Industry is not going anywhere. Live events will get smaller before they get bigger again, because the fear is going to be sustained for a little while. So just get used to it and just live with it. It's okay. Besides, I love smaller groups than bigger groups.
Oh, yeah.
Bigger groups have a lot more speakers than me. So those who are good at closers from the stage, there's no money left when I get on stage. So you know what? I prefer smaller groups. Then there's less speakers, and that means there's more to share. Okay. If you didn't get that one, come back and watch this again. And then, or get on a call with me. What can I tell you? And the last thing is that the people that will make money in this industry for a long time are the ones who are going to stick around for a long time. This is not a one and done. I've been speaking full time for 24 years. So this is for those who are here for the long haul.
Wow.
Cool. So far, so good?
That's
Absolutely.
All right. So let's talk about what happened during COVID. And this, Jim, you're going to love this part. Love. Because I'm going to share something with you that it blows everybody's mind. It's like their cap goes, poof, right? Okay. It's really cool. Let's talk about the events from March to September of 2020. Because what happened is that everybody went kaboom in March. My phone was blowing up. Oh, my God. Phones of oh my God all day long. Orly, should we continue doing the process? I call it the process when I teach my clients how to get gigs and how to prospect and contact. So should we continue? I'm like, absolutely continue. Don't stop. There's nothing going on. You're home. What are you going to do anyway? You have nothing to do but the process. So just do the process. Continue. So what happened for real? Yes, events were canceling, right? So 1/3 of the events canceled because they didn't know what they were going to do. Were they going to postpone? They were going to come back, but not right away. They have to regroup and find out how they're going to deal with this. So they canceled. The other 1/3, they were prepared to just pull the switch and go virtual immediately. Actually, I was a part of a few of those events where I got paid. And all they did was send an email to the speakers, send an email to the attendees, and we just went literally viral and virtual. No problem. Virtual, I mean. Yeah, they were already equipped for that. Then there's the other 1/3, the last 1/3. The 1/3 that actually postponed for a later date, like in 2021 or later even, and they basically got the venue even to agree. But with the contingency that if the venue is not available or this commotion does not go away, that they will be switching to virtual, but they will be ready by then. Make sense?
Sure.
Yeah.
They had another problem on their hand, though. The speakers were canceling on them.
Why? Oh.
This was a happy moment for us who were still doing work. I was not watching TV. I don't know about you, but I was not watching TV the whole time. I was contacting event planners because those who were contacting event planners, those who were working the system, they were actually getting booked because event planners were scrambling for speakers.
Yeah.
The 1/3 that were actually just in that contingency were hiring. Yay for us.
Smart.
And
Wow.
Well, that's what it's called, to know the industry, to know your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happened with restaurants? Usually they would take reservations. Now they're taking orders to take out and to delivery, right? I mean, this is like the switch, the pivoting point, right? Well, this industry had a pivoting point too. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Right? So people ask me a lot of the comparison for me in 2020 versus 2019. Well, here's where I'm going to blow your mind, Jim. This is hysterical for me because I had to pinch myself. April, May, June 2020 versus April, May, June 2019, I tripled my business.
Oh.
I've heard a lot of people say that, and our business actually grew during 2020 as opposed to 2019. Yeah.
So for people to tell me, oh, doom and gloom, hello, and I'm like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. Yes, there are some businesses that did not make it. Yes, there are some businesses, and I do feel bad for them, and I do feel that they have to find a pivotal point, and it is sad what's going on out there. But if it has to do with public speaking, and it has to do with coaching, the statistics show, and brokerage, I speak to brokerage firms, we are 1 million speakers short, and we are 1 million coaches short in the world. And I think people should just get back on track and get back into business instead of complaining of what is going on, what I need to do. And that's all I got to say about that. Forrest Gump.
Being able to adapt, which is what you did. Yeah.
That's really amazing, because you're exactly right as you were saying that, because a lot of people were focused on, the physical side of, oh my gosh, well, yeah, I mean, we none of us knew what was going on, but, we're still going to eat, and people still like to eat out. So the restaurants got smart and says, hey, we'll deliver the food to you. Okay, that way we can enjoy a good, meal from the restaurant, and we're home, we're safe. And I mean, goodness gracious, that's a win-win situation. And I'd like to share a little story about a business, if I may, right quickly. There was a man and his wife, and his name was, he went by the initials OD. His last name was McKee. His wife's name was Ruth. And during the Depression of 1929, when the stock market crashed and the world was coming to an end, and people committed suicide, there was all kind of panic.
It's the same thing as now.
Yeah, and they got in their car, and in the back of their car, they were selling cakes for 5 cents a piece. Now, to put this in proper perspective, how valuable 5 cents was, my dad was a young man. He was driving a truck from North Carolina up and down the northeastern seaboard, they called it. I guess they still call it that, New York and Pennsylvania and all those places. He was getting paid $8 a week, and he was thankful he had a job. And he told me when he got up to making $10 a week, he was able to buy a car. I'm going like, holy smoke, are you kidding me? He says, your money went a long way back in. So therefore, how many people would think someone would have money to buy a 5 cent cake? But these folks had a dream. They decided, hey, people, you don't sell them what they need, you sell them what they wanted. They wanted a cake. And making a long story short, these folks, they bought a bakery in 1934. They were still poor, putting all their money back in their business. They had the bakery up front. They just had sheets separating the bakery from the living quarters in the back. And in 1960, they went to Charlotte, North Carolina, and they actually OD built a bakery exactly the way he wanted it. And he decided to name it after the little snack cakes that they made after his little granddaughter. And they did okay, because they were known from then, and they're known today as Little Debbie snack cakes.
I love those.
We all love them.
I love those.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, when I stop at what I call a stop and a rob, what we used to do back in the 80s, it was a convenience store. I'd see if I'm going to get something to eat, I got to grab me a Little Debbie.
They're so good. The ones with the peanut butter are the best. Anyway, the best ones, yes.
But the story is that how many people would think during that dark days when people were penniless that anybody would have 5 cents for a cake when you could work for all week for $8 or $10? And the thing is that their philosophy was, you don't sell people what they need, you sell them what they want.
Absolutely.
And that's the secret sauce right there.
Right. And what people want today is guidance.
Mm.
And guidance and direction. And if you're a public speaker or a coach or a consultant, your duty to the world and to humanity is to help out. I mean, there are so very few of us, meaning we are not that many. Everybody thinking, oh, everybody wakes up every morning, wants to be a coach, wants to be a speaker. Yeah, okay, well, that's okay. Are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to get out there? Are you willing to get the message out there? Are you willing to learn this business? It's a business after all. Mm-hmm. I tell people, I want you to imagine that we're opening a brick and mortar store, right? So are you willing to play with me, Charlene?
Absolutely.
You and I are best friends, and we are anyway, right? Yeah, but here it is. So we have a great friend, and he's a real estate agent, but he's so amazing. His name is Jim, and he found us the best location of a store. But now we need the key to the front door. You're with me? And we need the hours of operation on the door. We're going to need the name of the store, of course, on top of the door. When we go inside, we're going to need I think we're going to need a camera system, and we're definitely going to need an alarm system. I think we're going to need a cash register and one of those iPads or computers to do the credit card processing thing. You agree with me, right?
Absolutely.
I think we're going to need insurance, and I think we're going to need a liability insurance. We are going to get a bank account together, right? Because we're partners, and we're going to get a bookkeeper, because you and I do not like to do that.
Absolutely.
All right. And of course, we're going to get somebody to clean the store and to decorate the store in holidays and stuff like that, because I like it, but I don't really like it. Right. All right. So are we good? Did I tell you what we're going to sell in that store?
Not at all. But I'm ready for it. Let's do this.
But that's the business of public speaking.
Yeah.
The product is the speaker. If they don't get that they need to have the proper infrastructure to sell themselves, nobody is going to buy.
Wow.
I love the way you did that. Go ahead.
When you're going into a store, when you see something you like, what do you look at first? The price tag. You already saw that you like the item, but you look at the price tag. If there's no price tag, are you frustrated or are you not? Sure. Because you want to know how much it is, right? Okay, great. Well, public speakers don't know how much to charge. There is what is called my value, and there's what is called industry value, but they don't know where they stand. In my book, there's a whole schematic, but where do you stand? Where do you start? And how do you scale? This is a scalable business. See? And so people don't know all these things about the business side. Are you a good speaker, a bad speaker? Let me ask you this. Answer those two questions, guys. Question number one, are you a good speaker? The answer should be yes if you are a speaker, right?
Yes.
You better say yes. I'm serious.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
The second question is, do you have a good message? Do you have a good message? Yes. Of course. You must have a good message, right? So let me ask you this question. Which one of these do you think event planners are more interested in? Number one, number two, or both?
Both.
Number one. I'd say number one.
So how about I tell you neither?
Okay.
Trick question, right?
I thought it was just multiple choice. I didn't know we had a neither.
I know. And it is a trick question because most speakers tend to think about, oh, my message is the best and I have the best. And everybody needs to hear my message because it's the best. I tell you, it's like one of the things, nobody does what I do, blah, 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 blah. You hear that a lot, right? And then you see them out there speaking and, oh, I'm the best speaker. When I come on stage, I give the energy and blah, blah, blah. Everybody's up and I get so many thank yous and I get so many, you're the best and high fives and blah, blah, blah. And who cares? Here is what the truth of the matter is. Event planners care only about two things: and they are the top. Like, I interviewed 3,400 of them. This is the 100% answer. You're with me?
We're
Okay.
ready. I can't wait to hear.
Be on time, finish on time.
I
Yeah.
can do that. Yeah.
Number
Yeah.
one, how
Really?
traumatized do you think event planners are?
As an event coordinator, I was the MC there. Me and Don put on an event. Time is nerve-wracking.
Nerve-wracking.
It really
Wow.
is. Yeah, it really is.
So
It's
it really is. So, I mean, and everybody's out there scrambling about, oh, my message, my topic, my this, my that, and the other. And I'm thinking, golly, you got it wrong. You know,
yeah.
it's like, I'm sorry.
Because as an event coordinator and as you know, being the MC at the event we put on up in Colorado Springs, you're all caught up in, do we have enough water? Do we have enough coffee? Is our signs out there right? You don't need someone strolling in there, drag bagging around 10 minutes late or 5 minutes late, or because they got to get keyed up. You want to make sure that person is there. You show up early. And because guess what? Things can go wrong electronically.
Mhm.
And if you show up late, you've just you've iced your chance with that event coordinator. I don't care how good of a message you got. They ain't got time for you. Am I right on that, Orly?
Yeah. And here's the thing, though, if you're a professional speaker and you are late and you are going to start late, you better finish on time, because then you don't screw up the whole agenda. And you know what I mean? It's that's really where we're at,
Mhm.
and if you are a professional speaker and the person before you went late, so your time was, let's say, at 2:00, and the person before you finished, by the time you got on stage, it was 2:15. Guess what? You have 45 minutes. You don't have an hour. So finish 45 minutes, or even finish 40 minutes. And a lot of speakers go, yeah, but they hired me for an hour. Wouldn't they be upset with me? No, they're not going to be upset with you if you finish 5 minutes early. That the agenda says, not your agenda, their agenda.
That's right.
So happy. They'll kiss your feet, man. This is what they're going to do. They're going to kiss your feet for finishing early and get them back on track. That's what they're going to do. Be a good person and finish on time for the agenda. So people are just not getting that.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's extremely important, because when you're goofing up other people's times, not only the event coordinator but the other speakers, and it dominoes down and it brushes people, and they'll remember that you were the one. Even the other speakers will remember the one that you fudged in on their time. And it's time for us to put up the money thing again.
Okay.
And you got to text money with your email address to 970-443-4307. And when you do that, you're going to get invited to a great class taught by Mr. Dandy Don McGrath. These two ladies can tell you what kind of training he puts on. And when he says it's free, it's free. Now, what's in it for you is very, very simple. You're going to be able to create an irresistible offer to your ideal clients. Don is going to share with you the 5 keys. These are proven keys. These are the key elements that will work for you. And to get that free offer and to be able to attend that webinar, just text the word money and your email address to 970-443-4307. And Dandy Don McGrath, I tell you right now, I tell people, you girls know him very well. And the best way I can describe Don McGrath to you is that he is the friend that you have not met yet. That's the best way I can. Am I right on that, girls? Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
I just texted it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You just text him. Oh my goodness! But I tell you, it's just the information you're sharing here today, Orly. My goodness gracious! It's just the little things that people, that they easily miss, because Don and we started Speakers Pathway Coalition back in 2018 it was. We had people say, I'm a speaker and I got a great story. And Don would tell them, nobody wants to hear it. Because we had a guy that wanted to come on and wants to tell his story, and I mean, it's just what's important to you is not important to the audience. What's important to the audience is the same thing here on the broadcast. It's not what I want to say, what Charlene wants to say, or Orly wants to say. Is what will you tune in and listen to? And you would find, as we call it here, infotainment, because that's exactly what it is. And Charlene, I tell you right now, Orly has she's been dropping some gold nuggets on us, hasn't she?
Amazing. I mean, it was so simple, but it's not something that I think of. It would be like, well, what is it, Orly? And it's simple, but it makes sense. And you pointed it out. I'm like, that's amazing.
You know what? She had me going on that story about the store. I want to know if I could go in the store. You had me, girl. You had me.
Yeah, well, because people don't think about it as a business. I feel like speakers are getting it wrong in the sense that it's not just about speaking. Speaking is one of the vehicles in this industry, coaching, and we have a responsibility. I think that this is, the bigger picture here is that as speakers, we are leaders, and as leaders, we have a responsibility. People hang on to our words. People hang on to what we do. They follow what we're doing. They follow what we're saying. That means they're taking it either to heart or to implementation. So imagine if you're saying something, somebody follows what you're saying, takes it home, implements it. Either it doesn't work or it does work, but it's affecting their lives. So you have a responsibility. And for you not to follow up on it, not to walk your talk. I walk my talk. I do what I tell my clients to do so that I can help them better. So how many coaches do you know that not only guarantee, but my guarantee is that I will hold their hand until they make the money. So it's not like a money back guarantee. It's more of I'll hold your hand until you make all of the money. And when people are saying, so people send me emails and they're sending me, oh my God, I got my first one. Look at the contract. Or they're sending me a text message, or they're sending me a video. You'll never believe what happened, right? I mean, or I just closed the deal. And I mean, those are adorable things, right? And I just got one last Friday. That's her 7th one. She finished the group coaching in September, so middle of September, and she took the group coaching during COVID. So what does that mean to you, right? And then right, and so from the end of September till last Friday was her 7th hire.
Wow! Wow!
And then you have all the people that saying, oh, but the holidays, I'll do it after the holidays. Okay, let me explain something. There are no seasons in public speaking. I'm sorry, can I say that again? There are no seasons in public speaking. Literally.
And you don't get a holiday, at least you work some, at least where I come from.
You can do whatever you want. That's what I love about this business. It's 365 days a year. Not everybody celebrates Christmas. Not everybody celebrates New Year. Not everybody celebrates anything. That's and right. By the way, if you're doing the business during the holidays, guess what? The first email they get after the holidays is yours. So it's not a bad thing after all.
We've got a little ticker tape down there about a book on clarity. It's by Mr. Bill Heinrich. Bill is also one of the co-founders and co-creators of the 6-Minute Webinar, because one of the things that we find, and this is one of the things that Orly is talking about here, people lack clarity. I want to be a speaker. I want to make money. Well, if you're not clear on the path in your mind, you're already, lost in the woods. And you can get a free ebook from Mr. Bill Heinrich. Just go to myfreebook.me. M as in Mike, E as in Echo, as I say in my military alphabet. But myfreebook.me. It's a free ebook, and he won't put you on an email list because I think everybody here knows Bill Heinrich. He's too busy for that. He's a high-level business coach, and he's not going to chase people down to try to upsell them something. It's his gift to you. So if you're lacking clarity, regardless of what you're trying to do in life, get that free ebook. And you'll be glad you did, because like Orly says there, she's talking about these speakers. They got all this mumbo jumbo going on in their mind. They can't see they just can't get out of the woods. That's kind of like the old saying or the old question, how far can you go in the woods? And the answer is halfway, because if you're going any further, you're going to start coming out of the woods. That's
That's
true.
fun.
But, we get caught up in the process. We lose focus of the content of what our mission is. Our mission is to share our story with others and do it in a way from the heart with love. Just like Orly with her story, she stopped a young lady from committing suicide. Oh my gosh. And I can understand why you said beep to property management after that, because you had just broken out. This is where you need to be. This was your calling.
Yep.
And my goodness gracious, I mean, so Charlene, you see now why I knew that after this show, you girls are going to connect, and it's just,
Definitely.
and that's one of the wonderful things about, people connecting with each other, because it gets electrifying, it gets exciting, and it makes life worth living.
Absolutely.
Think about all the people during COVID that went into solitary confinement. I still know people that are kind of scared to go, and I'm not knocking
Yes.
them. I'm just saying that, you're robbing yourself in life.
Definitely.
And don't live in fear. If you live in fear, you're enslaving yourself.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I mean, Jim, something you said that was very, very, and even with Bill, it's also because there is so many speakers out there that are talking about the same thing. Like, how many people do you know that say, I'm a motivational speaker, I'm a leadership speaker, I'm this speaker? I mean, if you are speaking about one topic, guess what? There's other people speaking about it. So I always tell people my superpower, everybody has a superpower. I've been in this business long enough that my superpower is how to pull out the positioning for them in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very special because of the way that I do it. Some people call it, especially that it's my clients that named it Orly's torture, but it's not really a torture. It's a challenging exercise. It's a challenging exercise that they are so challenged to think like the audience instead of thinking like a speaker, that most speakers don't think like the audience. They think like a speaker. And when you change that mind shift, it's so challenging that's what they call Orly's torture, because they cannot get out of there. It's so challenging. So it's a good thing, but it's just very challenging. Like the other day, I had my first session with a client, and I said, so was it a little challenging for you? He's like, nope. I said, liar. He's like, no, it was not a little challenging. It was a lot challenging. He was so cute. But my point here is that you are one. How can an event planner decipher between you and all the others that speak about the same topic? If it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, it's a duck.
It's a duck.
So how do you stand out? And I think that's what Bill says. Bill is helping you to just be clear about who you are. But then how do you decipher? How does the event planner decipher between you and everybody else that talks about the same exact thing?
We've given so much great information here to the airways. When I say we, I'm speaking of Orly and Charlene, not me. They're just carrying me along for the ride.
Oh,
but we're out of time, ladies and gentlemen, and I did not want to interrupt all the great information for a commercial. I just did a couple there for Dandy Don McGrath. I put it up there one more time there. Just get that phone number, 970-443-4307. Text the word money and your email address there, and you'll get the information to get that webinar, and it is free. Ladies and gentlemen, our time is gone, and I wish we could be here at least another couple of days, but we got to go. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you so much, Orly. Thank you, sweetie.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for everything. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Charlene, thanks for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow. You guys have a good evening. We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.